Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella with the press conference here for Joshua versus Molina. I'm joined by Adam Smith. How are you, Adam?
I'm good, KUGAN. How are you?
Yeah,
all good. Fun, that wasn't it?
We just hear Shannon Briggs echoing in the
Shannon's made the trip over, and he was quite quiet during the press conference until the end when the Molina lot sort of started shouting and screaming, and it was good fun. That
it got lively in the last 2 minutes.
It did.
Definitely.
It did, didn't it? Yeah,
definitely.
It did.
And do you know what I will say? When you're given the floor to sort of prod them with the questions, you do very well.
Thank you. I enjoy doing it.
No, but you do. It's better because I know you keep going until you get something. It's good.
Try and get something.
It's good. I do want to talk about obviously yesterday.
Yeah.
It was complete mayhem in the room yesterday.
Yeah.
And first of all, it's not a great image for the sport what happened here yesterday, but it did happen. We know about why it happened because they're two characters of that sort of personality. But how did you sum up yesterday?
Well, it's difficult to sum it up, isn't it? I mean, it all happened so quickly. The first thing, my concern is always with these things, make sure that everybody's safe, and you know, like when this happened and the gloves are off, you know, we've had many gloves are off and many difficult situations where you're putting fighters who don't really like each other together. You know, Frotch and Groves, we've had Cleverly and Bellew, we had on ringside Amir Khan and Kell Brook. They don't like each other, but they're happy to sit next to each other or sit opposite each other, and they sling bows and arrows at each other, but ultimately there is that line and they respect each other. When I think that's crossed, I think we come into difficulties, and it was crossed with Dylan and Derek. It was diffused quickly at Sky, the security were excellent, and they both went on their ways. And we took big repercussions after that. We went to Callis Allen, we went to Eddie Hearn, we went to Robert Smith. We all met and we decided sort of, you know, how we were going to go forward with A, sort of filming the gloves are off, B, with how we go forward with Derek Chisora and Dylan Whyte. It was agreed that there wouldn't be a head-to-head before the fight. They wouldn't come together in that sort of close proximity. So the idea of the press conference yesterday was to have them as far apart on a table as possible, or 3 tables, you know, and hopefully it would all go out okay. And it seemed that although Dylan was provoking him, Mark Tibbs got involved a bit. Obviously, Derek had his say. It seemed like it wouldn't pass with any physical problems. The table went. It was totally wrong of Derek Chisora to do that. It was obviously unsavoury and a bad thing for boxing. But, you know, it was diffused quickly afterwards. Derek was still raging. I tried to sort of just calm him down. I said Mike Goodall and some others because, you know, Derek Chisora can be very nice to chat to at times. But you know, he was hurt by something that Dylan said, and it took him off, and it spiraled out of control. It is now in the hands of the board. You know, that's the key. The board have now got to make a decision this afternoon as to what happens, whether Derek may get fined or whether the fight happens, and we have to live by that. They're the officiators, they're the regulators, and we're with them and with the board and what they decide. You know, but hopefully it will happen. The fight will go on. There won't be, if it does go on, they won't be weighed in anywhere near each other. They'll be in different locations, and then hopefully they can let their fists do the talking, so to speak. You know, in the squared circle, under regulatory rules. We're going to have a really good fight, and hopefully, and I said this at the end, I said it yesterday, that I think there will be respect at the end. I'm hoping if they do 12 hard rounds with each other, we do at least get that at the end of it. So that's what people want to see. People want to see the fight. It's a really intriguing fight, let alone what's gone on in the build-up. But obviously, you know, there will be repercussions of what's happened yesterday, and that's up to the board to decide what they do.
What was going through your mind on 2 instances? First of all, when you saw Derek pick that table up, and second of all, there was a moment there where Derek was raging for a couple of minutes, and he specifically came over to you to kind of have words with you about, you know, people have seen it on the video. Yeah, absolutely. So what was going through your head in both them instances, Adam?
Well, I think, you know, when I saw Derek hit the table, I thought, you know, there may be a problem. The table coming toward me didn't sort of worry me initially. In fact, they're trying to get it out of the way. But what worried me was if he got close to either Mark or Dylan, and then it could have just got worse. But the security handled it extremely well. They took him away from the situation. And yeah, they put him onto one side. Dylan was taken out of the room, so that was handled brilliantly. And I think afterwards, I saw him still firing, and I came down and I thought if he sees me, he'll probably come to me, and he did. I've known Derek a long, long time, and I just thought, you know what? The best way is just to talk to him, try and take the heat out of the situation, try and calm him down, remind him of the fact that, look, he's going to a fight on Saturday night, which is really important for his career. It's a British heavyweight title fight. It's a fight that can get him back up into a world title shot. It's a big money fight. It's an important night for him on Saturday. He doesn't want to spoil this any more than he's done already. And I think that was the important thing, just to try and take some steam out of him and to quieten the situation. But obviously he was in that rage, and it's a tricky one. But I think Mike Goodall did a brilliant job. I tried, and others, and within 10 minutes he was chatting sort of much more normally, Derek. So it's just a shame that in that spur of the moment he lost it, and it's not a good habit at all for boxing. It's not what we want to see. We want to see the needle, we want to see the hype. Crossing the line, absolutely not.
Just finally, I know it's not your decision, obviously it will come down to the board, but do you anticipate there is a small chance that the fight doesn't happen?
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, really that's up to Robert and everybody in the board to decide. I know he was particularly upset about what happened at Sky. These guys, they've both got a bit of history as well. Dylan and Anthony Joshua said things to each other. What happened at the end of the first round of their fight, and Derek Chisora obviously has had instances before with David Haye, with Kubrat Pulev, and others where he just boils over a bit. I actually think Derek is fine most of the time. He's absolutely lovely. He can be a really gentle guy and great, but he does seem to have that pent up aggression and fire in him, that if someone he believes disrespects him, he'll try and stand his ground. And I think that Dylan and they were obviously that happened in there. So look, it is down to the board. Whatever the board decide, we will support. I'd be sad if the fight didn't happen, because people want to see the fight. Take away, strip it down. It's a good fight between a guy who's got a bit of momentum, Dylan, after the Joshua fight, maybe the younger and fresher, and in Derek, somebody that needs to go, probably have one more last terrific fight, terrific performance, to get back into what is becoming an increasingly important heavyweight picture. The likes of Joshua fighting Molina, the likes of Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz on Saturday as well. Deontay Wilder waiting to come back. Tyson Fury, we hope, comes back, and David Haye and Tony Bellew. It's a great picture. It's a fascinating division as always, and I'm sure Derek and Dylan both want to be part of that. But you cannot behave like that. You cannot behave like that at a public press conference. You cannot behave like that. These guys are role models. Kids look up to them, and I think you have to take that into account as well. So I'm sure the board will take this very seriously. And they'll decide what to do. Whatever punishment they decide is right, we absolutely adhere to. We're the broadcasters, Kugan. We're not the boxing regulators. As a fan, do I want to see Chisora and Whyte, under the rules, in the boxing ring, having a British heavyweight title fight? Of course I do. Do I condone their behaviour? Yes. The behaviour yesterday was appalling, and that has to be taken into account. We don't want to see that. As I said, as kids watching this, role models and all that, they have to make sure that they conduct themselves, respectfully. And at times, Derek didn't. They haven't in the studio at Sky. Both situations were diffused. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Keep them apart. And let's hope that Saturday night we do have a fight, but it is up to the board now.
Adam Smith, thank you very much for talking to iFall TV.
Cheers, Kugan.
And let's look forward to the weigh-in.
It's tomorrow. A great night anyway.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's a massive night. It's a huge event. We kick off at 5:30. The likes of Conor Benn, Luis Ortiz, Callum Smith in a good fight. We've got Caliafai, moment of truth for him. Hosea Burton, Fred Buglioni, I cannot wait for. Scott Quigg, the comeback. Katie Taylor, massive fan of Katie Taylor's. I think she's going to become a real superstar in world sport. So really looking forward to that. Chisora, Whyte, AJ Molina. It's a great night.
Thank you very much, Adam Smith.
Cheers, Kugan.